As viewers of this program know very well by now, we don't just talk about and cover politics here. Politics is the lens, the prism through which we talk about us and our shared world and ask the big questions: connection or lack thereof, loss, love, grief, pain. In other words, we explore the human condition. And why now more than ever, so many of us feel an urgent need to connect and experience the human condition as one whenever we can. Some experts actually believe it's the post-COVID emotional roller coaster hangover. Others attribute record levels of reported loneliness and isolation to too much social media and remote work, which has replaced human interactions with screens. Whatever it is, it's now the actors and the performances that make us feel something that we crave and need and find more precious than ever before. Enter Emilio Estevez and his father, Martin Sheen, in their exquisite film, The Way. It is a much-needed meditation on opening our eyes to the wider world and the power of human connection. Watch.
You should fly with me.
Yeah, right.
Turn the car around, pack a bag, grab your passport, forget your golf clubs. Come on, a father-son trip. It'll be fun.
When you coming back?
I don't know.
So you don't have a plan?
We agreed that if I let you take me to the airport, you wouldn't lecture me about how I'm ruining my life.
I lied. You know, most people don't have the luxury of just picking up and leaving it all behind, Daniel.
Well, I'm not most people. If I don't have your blessing, that's fine. But don't judge this. Don't judge me.
My life here might not seem like much to you, but it's the life I choose.
You don't choose a life, Dad. You live one.
Oh, it hits you everywhere that counts. Joining us now, Emilio Estevez, who wrote, directed, and acts in the film The Way, and has championed its re-release. It is in the theaters tomorrow, right? And he's in the film, obviously, along with his father, the star of the film, Emmy Award-winning actor Martin Sheen. It's so nice to see you both. Emilio, can I start with you? Will I offend anybody? Will I offend Dad? So I wrote No. I wrote this down, and I wanted to slide it into my mom folder. It actually makes me cry. If my son ever says you should fly with me, you know, never say no. I mean, as you know, my son's only 11, but I already feel, you know, his youth slipping away, and that scene just gets me. Tell me about writing it and starring in it.
Well, that scene in particular is an invitation for Martin's character to join his son. And as the film unfolds, I only have a very small role in this film. You see me in a couple of scenes in the beginning, and then this is not a spoiler alert, but my character dies in the Pyrenees, in just outside of Santiago de Compostela. So Martin's character, who was reluctant to fly with him, obviously he didn't make the journey with him, now is forced to make that journey after the son's death. And what's interesting, I think, is that he was not able to meet him halfway and even see why he was doing what he was doing, in which was sort of, he was leaving it all behind. He was going to travel. He was going to see the world. Martin's character doesn't understand that. In the film, he has to make the full journey to find out who his son was, and he's living in some measure of regret. So to your point, yes, if your child invites you to fly with them, get on that plane, get on that train, get in that car, and go.
And I mean, the real life story obviously is of your artistic partnership and creative partnership, but the movie, I think, lets all that pain wash over you, right? Of regrets, of the choices you don't make, to see your child as they really are and not the expectations you place on them. He does make the journey, but he makes it without him. I want to play this scene though of what happens, Martin, when you're on the journey, and then I want to talk about the journey itself.
Hey, I'm Frank, New York.
Tom, California. Nice to meet you, Rabbi.
Oh, actually, I'm a priest.
You can understand my confusion.
Yeah, a lot of people make that mistake. Brain cancer. Surgery left me with a terrible scar. I wear this yarmulke to cover it up. They didn't get it all, you know. Cancer. Said it'll probably come back. Who knows about these kind of things? Only God. Anyway, they say that miracles happen out here on the Camino de Santiago.
You believe in miracles, Father?
I'm a priest. It's kind of my job.
Martin, the writing is exquisite, and so are you. I mean, tell me about this character, about playing someone your son created.
Well, I think Emilio will agree. That came from an incident that I actually had in New York City with a Catholic priest that I thought was a rabbi. I met him in the church there at 31st Street, St. Francis of Assisi, as he was coming out, and he told me that he'd just had brain cancer and he'd had surgery, and that the yarmulke was the only thing that covered it fully. It was something I couldn't resist, and Emilio put it in the film. Yeah. And that actor playing him is one of my oldest, dearest friends. It's Matt Clark. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Tell me about, though, what the road symbolizes in this movie, because you take this journey, and that's the road that the viewer of the film travels with you.
Yeah. Well, I think that all our pilgrimages are really a journey to our interior life, where we try to find the sacred, most vulnerable part of ourselves, which seems to be buried the deepest. But it's only when we are able to see ourselves through other people that we get a glimpse of who we are, and it's reflected. And I think that that's how, we heal ourselves, is in community. And the journey, the pilgrimage, is always, I like to describe it as an effort to unite the will of the spirit with the work of the flesh. So you put them together, and you have an interior and an exterior journey, which reflects, in large part, who you really are. You're able to find yourself.
Emilio, I think that it's too hard to do that in life. I mean, I think art has this outsized role to play right now. And again, I don't know why, but it feels, in a post-COVID, with all the political rancor, with the fact that I could sit here any day and have to rip up my whole show because a mass shooting could take place, and it could even be at an elementary school, that it's too much. I mean, what Martin just described is too much to be vulnerable in life. And so these films feel all the more needed. They feel like they should be required viewing. Tell me about the decision to re-release it.
So the film was sort of languishing in this movie jail. We had taken it off of all of the streaming services. The DVD was very hard to find, and so it was really rescued. So we kind of rescued this film, got it out of the obscurity that it was living in. And the thought was just to make it available again. Enter Fathom Events. And they said, we would like to put this film back in theaters. So here we are. Tomorrow night, we're back on about 1,000 screens nationwide, from coast to coast. We're selling out in places like Fresno and Auburn, Alabama. And we're selling out in Thousand Oaks. So we're selling out theaters all over the country. So what does that tell you? It tells you exactly to your point, that people need this sort of film. And the movie's about healing. The movie's about processing grief. And like I said last week, I was talking to Eddie Glaude on Morning Joe, and we talked specifically about the fact that we haven't been allowed this time to properly grieve coming out of the pandemic. And I think that the film offers some measure of that. It allows you to disappear into the theater for 2 hours and go on this journey with these people and experience not only the joy, but also take that time to grieve.